Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Live at It's a Crime with Linda. And we have some excellent news. I guess we are, I guess, what was I going to say? Basically, that somebody doesn't have a certain smirk on her face anymore. Who has the last smirk? We do. Guilty, 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 and guilty. Lori Daybell, super guilty for all charges. Now, it has been a week because this is the second time this week that they have that they have not sentenced, convicted Lori and Letitia. What a crazy week. So basically, Lori's charged with conspiracy to commit first degree murder and grand theft by deception of Tylee Ryan, first degree murder, Tylee Ryan, conspiracy, the same thing to commit first degree murder and grand theft by deception for JJ Vallow, first degree murder for also JJ Vallow, conspiracy to commit first degree murder, Tammy Daybell. I have this all here. Conspiracy, all those. So basically, guilty, 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 guilty. Now, I'm going to replay the jurors, at the time of her verdict. I will play that in a minute. It's interesting on some things that I noticed. Not too many, but it is interesting. Noticeably absent was her smirk. Although she did do a death stare, I did notice that. Somebody's saying, I wonder what her Mother's Day meal will be. Well, So yeah, Lori and Letitia, it's been a huge week, a very huge week. Interestingly, now we can't forget. So Lori, the verdict is dished out to her today. Now we got to wait for sentencing, and it's not going to be like Letitia. Letitia got sentenced the same day, not for Lori. They actually have part of their Idaho law. It's going to take some time. The judge is saying that it might take a minimum of 2 months, could be longer. So 2-3 months, which would put us in June, July, August. Maybe it's even September. And then we are going to whip and go to Arizona, because in Arizona, that's where they're going after Lori for Charles. So I'll read a little bit of that to you as well. So it's been it's been a week, right? They are, let me just read this to you once I find it. Yeah, here. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office has reviewed submitted charges for matters involving Lori Vallow that occurred in Chandler, Arizona on July 11th, 2019, and Gilbert, Arizona on October 2nd. They have made the state of Idaho aware of our intent to prosecute the defendant in Arizona for charges stemming from these submittals, that would be both for Charles and for Brandon. After the defendant is sentenced and transferred to the Idaho Department of Corrections, the extradition process will begin, and the extradition can take from several weeks to several months. Because this is a pending matter, this office will not provide any further comment, blah, 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 including any decisions made by the office. So we'll get to some other things that the family said. What was notable in the last 2 days, which is super, it was interesting and I loved it, was the fact that Larry Woodcock was handing out lifesavers in the court, and he was actually playing some songs that reminded him of JJ they used to sing. And then I saw him sing and say, Lori's going to prison. So that's great. Very, very, very good. And Catherine says burnt toast for Mother's Day dinner. Yeah. A weight has lifted. It has lifted. This has been a long time. I mean, almost 4 years for the families. Again, this is very different than Letitia, but yet at the same time, kind of the same, where there's a bit of torture in the courtroom. Letitia does it more overtly, and Lori just, I guess it's different. It's the same but different, same pile, no, same, different pile. We see Letitia where she was flipping the bird and doing all these things in court. always shenanigans. And with Lori, it was more consistent of the smirk and acting jovial and giggly and all these things, with the exception of one day. I'm surprised that this trial went so short. I thought it would be longer, and I thought they would stack it with more things. So I was a little bit worried when it was all of a sudden that the prosecution rested. I thought, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Like, Lori needs to get the full package deal. I was pretty adamant last night. I thought she needs the package deal. I don't want her, and we don't want her to get, just one of this and not this and here, right? So I was a little concerned, but she got the full meal deal today, which is amazing. It seemed like Larry Woodcock was in very good spirits. I love that he was handing out lifesavers and singing and all that. So it's awesome. Yes, a competent jury. It's wonderful. So, um, yeah, we will rock you is good. It's wonderful. It's been it's been a lot of, like I said, kind of the shenanigans in court. Plus, we've seen Lori get away with so many things over her lifetime. And she got a I mean, even with Charles was there's just she got away with so much stuff, right? So I was a little concerned because I thought, man, she gets away with everything. I don't know what it is about her. She just seems to slide by. I think the smirking this whole time, she was so confident that people are going to do what they normally do, and that's give her a pass. Now, the families have said for a long time that Lori was a great mother, blah, 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 right? We've heard that. Clearly not now. But I was starting to think, like, how did this go so very wrong? And there's a common denominator to all this, because it wasn't just Chad that was doing this stuff. It was also Lori. And I thought to myself, we're seeing the true essence of who she is with what she's done in the last couple years. And the difference is, the common denominator is she's had a man in her life for a long time, and she had several men. And when she's with a man, except for Chad, she's behaving. And then when things go south, she misbehaves. We saw that with, and I mean, that's putting it lightly, right? But I'm thinking of Charles when they were going to split, and she decides to steal his truck because she stole his truck, stole his money, stole it, all his items down to his underwear, and even stole the dog collar for the dog Bailey, who's JJ's service dog. So there was all kinds of things she was doing, and at the very core, there's this manipulation from Lori, and then she meets Chad, and they bring out the worst in each other. So, are you guys Chad stormed Daybell? I'm going to read something to you too, because it has to do with closing arguments. And that was like, oh dear. Did the defense brought up storm? It wasn't good. Well, I'll read that. Um, so so it's been really, really weird throughout the years. And at the end of the day, the jury obviously did the right decision, in my opinion, guilty on all counts. This jury has to go and live with the images that are in their head for the rest of their lives, possibly. I'm sure some people will get over it, some people might not. You don't know, right? Um, yes, Doug says, I'm glad they were both found guilty, but it's hard to think of those two young boys and girl. They were sweet and innocent. Why hurt them? Two kids and okay, yeah. So yeah. So basically, Charles, today wasn't about Charles, right? That's coming. But we got Charles, we have JJ, we have Tylee, and we have Tammy Daybell. And as we were going through the trial, we were hearing more and more that Lori, there was one witness that said, her name was Audrey. She said that Lori threatened to kill her. And that was interesting. We heard about castings. We heard about Tammy Daybell. I did a video yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but I did a video about Tammy Daybell and Chad Daybell the day that Tammy died, and that Chad had to have posed her, and he said he moved the body, but because of how she died, she died of asphyxiation, um, and she died on her back. And then while she was dead, basically, he moved her. And he posed her that half her body was on the ground and half was on the bed. Then this thump was heard, and he got Garth to come, his son, to come into the room and pick Tammy off the bed, which is horrific for a child to do, anyone to do, but really it's your child, right? Pick her up and put him on the bed. So I did a video on that, and I thought, you bastard, right? There's all these things, and his 911 call was a load of hooey. Arizona Walton says, Linda, I've been following this with you since your first video and 45,000 subs. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. Also, why do the defense attorneys keep postponing if they didn't even have a defense? This is what I say with the defense attorneys in Lori's case, Chad's case. They have to grab a big old spaghetti pot, grab the spaghetti and throw it on the wall and see what works. They tried. You got to give them that. They did try. But there was some interesting things. If we rewind way back to opening statements, in opening statements, they talked about, and thank you for the super chat. In the opening statements, right away, the prosecution saying this is about money, this is about sex, this is about, lust or whatever else, right? But the way the defense was trying to go at it, it was completely different. And it was interesting the things they brought up throughout. They were trying to discredit everyone and everything throughout the whole thing. We'll go through that. I will pull it up. I was telling my brother about this case yesterday. He was like, so she will spend her life in psych. When I told him they didn't have the insanity plea, he was shocked that that justice would come. Well, we got it. So she's going to be quite upset there. Thank you. She's going to be quite upset. I feel like I missed something. Oh, there we go. Thank you for following this all the way through with us and for all your hard work you put into getting us the details. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate all you as well. And you. I thank you. Yeah. It's been a long haul, like 3.5, 4 years. Well, I covered it. I think it's been 3 full years that I've covered the case. I started in springtime, I think it was. And not long after, yeah, I think it was the new year sometime. Anyways, I've done over 150, 160 videos. I don't even think that's including live streams on this case. So there's all kinds of deep dives that I've done. A Charles Vallow series. I did, like I said, I did Tammy's yesterday. I've done some theory videos as well. I mean, I even went and dissected the apartments that they chose. Like, it was a long 3 years. A long 3 years. But today is beautiful justice. I was worried a little bit, especially because they kind of veered away. Well, they did veer away with too much of the religion aspect. But they bottom lined it. And I was reading it as it was going yesterday with the closing arguments, and it was interesting. Let me see if I'm pulling it out. Did I do that right? And then we'll play the verdict. I'll play the verdict as well, but let's go through this first. Let's see. Might be in my notes. Rob Wood, there was a couple quotes that I really appreciated about him in the closing arguments. Yeah, and they did a full circle. So Rob Wood did closing arguments. Lindsay Blake did opening statements. And he said money, power, and sex, and then went through the whole thing. He showed photos of Tylee. photos of JJ, picture of Tammy. And there was a couple that I highlighted. It said, did Lori agree to have Tylee killed and steal that money? Did she intend for those events to actually happen? And did any of the conspirators perform an overt act in furtherance of that agreement? He went through same thing with JJ. He said, let me see, sorry. To be clear, nobody has been charged for their religious beliefs. They have been charged for using those religious beliefs to justify murder. He said they couldn't kill the kids in Arizona where they had friends and family. Moving to Rexburg was the catalyst for these murders. They had to hide Tylee and JJ. They had to go somewhere nobody knew them. Moving to Rexburg was the catalyst for these murders, and then Alex followed. And if we go more, he said, I love this part too, because he said, he talked about the raccoon text from Chad, but he said the text is where Chad Daybell told us where to find Tylee Ryan. And Chad did that. I talked about that in my video yesterday. Chad gives these little nuggets of telling on himself because he can't help himself. He gets pleasure out of it. We're going to see this, mark my words, because in a year when we see this, we are going to see Chad exhibit this behavior where he's going to enjoy looking at the evidence. He's going to have the dupers. He's done this throughout. I've said this even in his preliminary and on, basically. And Letitia did the same kind of thing. She had a few things where, well, in her court, she was covering her ears and looking down. She didn't want to look, but she did look when Gannon's autopsy stuff came on. So it's just a little bit of a, I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff going to that. There's another really great point where he said that grave was not dug in 17 minutes. It was premeditated and planned. And then he common denominated it. He's like, what ties Alex to Chad? Lori Vallow. On and on. Tylee, JJ, and Tammy can't tell us what happened, but their bodies do. So yeah, they used religion as a tool to manipulate others. Lori manipulated Alex Cox through religion. She manipulated Chad through emotional and sexual control, it says, and they manipulated their friends. It's so true through this whole thing, but it is bananas. It is bananas. They were so left field of anything. They made up stuff as they went. They called people zombies. They called people, dark. They did their rating system. And one by one, Lori's little list seemed to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And people were dying and being killed. And there's more people after that because they were gaining confidence. Right? Oh, I got away with Charles. Let's go next. I got away with that. Let's do another one. Let's go ahead and do another one. So, sorry guys, I'm just going through here. Do you think Chad will be offered a plea deal? I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. No. No, I don't. And he has the death penalty and he has all kinds of things going. No. No. I don't think so. That's what I think. Oh yeah, I mean, Lori, it's everybody else's stuff. It's everybody else's stuff. Justice was very much served hot. And there was a couple things that Jim Archibald, once Rob Wood had his closing arguments, then we had Archibald come up, and John Pryor actually walked in and was sitting in there as well, listening, and he sat throughout the trial. I don't know if it was every day, But I did read from Nate Eaton, we love Nate Eaton, that he said that he would always say, "Oh, John Pryor walked in, he's in here today, he's, observing or whatever," which is interesting. And he's pushing to have Chad's trial next May, I think it was. He's asking for. Might be even later at this point. We thought maybe it might be a fall or Christmas time, December, but it looks like it's going to be he's requesting for that. So stay tuned for that obviously, and also with Charles. Where did he put Let me see. I wrote some notes as I was starting to hear Archibald because he said, "Who is Lori Vallow? What happened? Where did it happen? When did it happen? Why did it happen?" That's what you've been asked to figure out. That's what you need to be convinced of beyond a reasonable doubt. Lori was born in California, turns 50 next month, got married right out of high school, got divorced, went to beauty school, got married and divorced again. She worked hard as a single mother. And then I put, you forgot the 3 more times she got married. And then he moved on. Who is Chad Daybell? He says, Lori read some of his books, and Archibald explains about all the religious teachings, the 144,000 evil spirits, light and dark ratings, zombies, Jesus being in the temple. And he says, quite a remarkable change in Lori from people who knew her. What the heck is going on? How can this be? But again, it's not all Chad. Chad and Lori, they just brought out the worst in each other, and it just kept going, and they were one-upping each other pretty much. And then they just thought all this was a good idea, and now they can rot. And side note, Lori, who thought she was a goddess, basically it was said that she doesn't have to eat. And I've said this before, prove to us, it could be real quick. Prove to us that you're a god then, Lori. Let's see you not eat. Let's see how long that can go for. It's ridiculous. And so what else? Burden of proof. Yeah, he's talking about the jurors. Where's the storm comment? Because I just thought, oh dear. In the year Chad convinced her, meaning Lori, she was a goddess, how many converts did Lori have? 0, he says. A big fat 0. How many converts did Chad have? I count 6. Melanie, Audrey goes on. This great cause of saving the world and gathering up the 144,000, Chad got 6 and Lori got 0. Doing some simple math, Chad has 143,994 people left to gather before Jesus comes. At the rate of 6 people a year, that would take Chad 24,000 years to get his army assembled. The math is ridiculous. I thought that was great. That was really great to me. It was funny. And then I remembered this. And side note, I know a lot of people do ask me about this, and most of you do know what it is because I got there first before Lori because she wanted to lead the 144,000. So it's kind of a jab at Lori. But I wonder, do you guys want me to keep this up like that until Chad's done, or do you want me to change it? I don't know. It's just a tiny little thing. Janet says, yes, good video, stage and post Tammy. Lividity doesn't lie. That's right. Is anybody worried about her portal? I think the only portal she's worried about herself. I think the sizzle in the loin fire was extinguished today. What else did he say? They were talking about the pickup lines. Remember, we talked about pickup lines a long time. Archibald says, he says she's reading his books during a hard time in her life, and this guy is telling her she's a goddess. And by the way, we've already been married in previous life, so it's not really cheating. And we were best friends with Jesus, and Jesus approves, so everything is okay. He says that's quite the pickup line by Chad to Lori, and it worked. Pretty scary that the pickup line from Chad to Lori worked. I literally said almost those words. Like, how scary is that? It worked on Lori. But Lori wanted it to work. That's the other point. Lori wanted it to work so it would go with her plan, so she could use Chad. It's not all Chad. Um, Let me see. There's one that I basically said out loud, BS. Archibald says, okay, he was talking about being on the phone with Chad and Lori the day the kids were found in the yard. And he was trying to say that Lori didn't know that the kids were in the backyard. He said Chad knew, but does she know that Chad and Alex stuffed her kids in Chad's backyard? Go listen to it again and you make your determination. Not once did she say, "Hey, Chad, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?" She knew exactly. And she said before that she knows where JJ is and that he's safe and he's happy. So he, like, that's a bunch of, you know what? Um, let's see. I'll take some questions again while I'm going through this. We'll just put that up. Thank you, Mimi. Oh, I got to get to the storm part. Time to feel the fire. No, Lori does not go to insane asylum. Lori does time, hard time. So now, just like Letitia, it's going to be a big difference from county jail. So you're welcome, Elizabeth. Wow, the preliminary hearing was 2 years ago already? I guess so. Man, it goes by. I did both. I did videos a lot on the preliminary as well, from what I remember. Anyway, there was a lot. I did do a whole series on Charles before anybody really covered it. We just knew a little bit. I knew to go back, but we didn't really know the details at that time. So I started there. Yeah, I agree, Dave. Dave says, I don't think they went too deep into the religion aspect. That was an important part of the entire case. I agree, but I wonder if they said this is going to take, 30 years to go through. And maybe they didn't wanna convolute it, but it was weird because I agree with you. I thought it was gonna go deeper, especially the part what I woulda strengthened, maybe that would be for Chad, is the whole secret combination part because, it had to do with secrets and you form a group and you do these things, and there was a lot of that, but maybe they were confident they didn't need it. Sentencing won't be until for a couple months. 2 minimum, they said. Could be longer. So I'm thinking 3, who knows? Okay, let me see what else I got there. This is interesting. He says, "Why tell everyone you had 2 kids? Why enroll them in school? Why hire a babysitter? The only thing that makes sense to me, if she didn't have a plan," and this is Archibald talking, she wanted to be with Chad. They were obviously having an affair. Chad told her all the time about life and dark things, but there was no plan by Lori to kill their kids, which is false. And the reason Archibald was talking about Lori's rental application for Rexburg home, like why put that down that you have 2 kids? Why this? Because it's on paper, Archibald. That's why it's on paper. Lori's not stupid. She knows how to manipulate pretty good. Um, and then he said, "Why not go get insurance policies on the kids?" But we know she searched it because Melanie Pulowski, which, side note, let me know in the comments right there. Side note is, why is Melanie not charged at all? Let me know. Uh, yeah, his Chad's trial is going to be in springtime next year. Could be May, could be Then he says, Archibald says, Tammy's death is up in the air. Was she even murdered? Was it a natural death? To believe she was murdered, Chad is so smooth that he convinced a county coroner, a deputy coroner, and a police officer that it was all natural causes and convinced his kids. Remember, the kids showed up. Oh my, what happened to mom? Chad convinced them all. Sorry, kids, mom died in her sleep. Okay, dad. You're being asked to convict Lori on killing Tammy when Lori's in Hawaii, conveniently. You're being asked to convict Lori on killing Tammy when it isn't even a homicide. That's not true. Just some of it. He also said, what's going on in Chad's brain? You and I wouldn't believe it, but some people do. Some people follow religious leaders when others don't. Was it proven who killed Tylee? No, but Alex and Chad were in the backyard. Chad had said Tylee doesn't like me. I'm guessing Chad and Alex on Tylee. Did they prove that Lori conspired? Of the 15,000 texts they have in evidence, show me one from Lori that says, so when are you killing Tylee? Again, Lori's not going to do that. But Lori called Tylee dark and a zombie. And she was rated so on the rubric, I believe she was rated dark. I know they changed it, but then they named her a zombie, and Tylee said, not me, mom. And then he was talking about how she's not a recruiter, which is interesting. He said, why can't people escape religious leaders? Why can't Lori escape and get back to her good mom life? Lori is not a leader in Chad's new church, the Church of of Firstborn. Lori so wants to testify of Jesus. She wants to tell the world how much she loves Jesus. She wants to tell you she personally met him on more than one occasion. But is Lori a leader or a follower of Chad? She so wants to be a leader, but she's not leading anyone. She's following Chad. She thinks Chad is following Jesus, but he's not. No, he's unfortunately being led by the storm. Not the first guy to be led by the storm. Oh my. Anyway, but Lori was said to be quite the recruiter. And I think it was either April Raymond or it was Melanie Gibb. Remind me if you remember. One of them said that she was amazing at recruiting people. And she'd go in Hawaii and she'd do all these things. So, yeah, remember that, Chris? Ballpark. I'm Chad DeBall. I'd like a ballpark figure. That was in regards to Charles. Okay, do you guys want to let's take a look for a minute. And we'll go back to the verdict and we'll talk about her behavior. Chad should be worried. Yeah, he should be. I wonder if he's going to catch wind from Lori from his portal potty. Hang on, guys. Hot flash. Okay, I got to catch up to you guys. I'm yapping and I have to see what you guys are saying here. Stupid books. Okay. Yeah, that's right. He basically called Chad a dark loser who wrote stupid books. I forgot about that. He did say in one, Archibald said, treat people like you want to be treated. But remember, go back to the beginning of the defense of how they actually said that Kay was no longer a grandmother and they weren't grandparents to JJ because of JJ was adopted, so they lost their rights and stuff. I thought that was just super in poor taste. Very poor taste. Yeah, there's another one about the storm. If there's anything we've learned about a storm, you hide from a storm. You seek shelter from a storm. Lori spent her whole life protecting her children. And that was what Archibald said. And for those of you who don't know, Chad Storm was his member of his body. And you know what I thought about? Did you guys ever see that movie, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? I love that movie with Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. And there's a scene where she's being ridiculous and she's like, "Does a Kral, the Warrior King, want to come out to play?" And he's just like, "What did you just?" Oh, because she called it first like Princess Sophia. He's like, "You don't call it that. You don't call it that. You call it crawl." Anyway, I thought about that. I'm like, dear God, Chad's calling it the storm. It's terrible. It's super terrible. It is a good day in Idaho. Keep it, keep it, keep it. Keep going. We need 2 times 144. If I do that, I'll just put 2 times 144. Keep it forever. Oh dear. You guys, I love when we laugh. Okay. I'm going to play the verdict again. It's quick. I'm going to talk a little bit about Lori's demeanor. Oh. Thank you for the super sticker. I'm a little behind catching up on your guys's comments, so just hang in there for a sec. Okay, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. And let's just quickly play the we're going to play the verdict. Now I want you to watch Lori. She doesn't do a lot, but she does. In the beginning, when I start to play it and she's there, she's going to stand up and she's going to sit back down. And what I just want you to look at is as she's going to sit down, even in this moment, she's worried about her hair, even in this moment. So she'll stand up and then she'll sit back down. And then we'll see her read the verdicts. And then at the very end, she's going to stand up and she's going to have her little hissy fit. And we've seen that maybe once before. I think it was when she was in Hawaii, possibly, and she just did one of these and smirked. But you'll see her have a little baby hissy fit. So let's just play that and you'll see what I mean. I'm just going to put all eyes on her for a minute. It's too bad it's not clear because I would have loved to have seen her demeanor up close and detailed.
The defendant would please rise.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho plaintiff versus Lori Noreen Ballo, aka Lori Noreen Daybell, defendant, case number CR 22211624. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Ballo not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Ballo not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Answer, guilty. Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 4. In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty.
Epidemic Sound provides you with restriction-free music and sound effects that you can use across all of your content without.
Question number 6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
All right, please be seated.
Now watch.
Madam Clerk, thank you for
Wow.
reading the verdict.
She's worried about her hair.
Into the record,
Well,
at this time, let me just inquire of the jury, is this in fact your true and correct verdict?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Let me ask now from counsel, does the state wish to have the jury polled?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the jury will be polled at this time. Madam Clerk, if you would please indicate only by juror numbers of each of the jurors if this is their true and correct verdict individually.
Juror number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true and correct verdict?
now she has
Juror number 10, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
an aisle.
Juror number 11, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 15, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court does find it's a unanimous verdict in this case, so I will direct the clerk to record the verdict into the record of this case.
Now watch her stand up and write immediately. She's gonna be having a
We'll
little.
now have a closing jury instruction for our jurors and also those alternate jurors that are in attendance today. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of this court. The question may arise as to whether you may discuss this case with the attorneys or with anyone else. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to the attorneys or to anyone else is entirely your own decision. It is proper for you to discuss this case if you want to, but you are not required to do so, and you may choose not to discuss the case with anyone at all. If you choose to talk to someone about the case, you may tell them as much or little as you like about your deliberations or the facts that influenced your decision. If you decide to discuss the case with anyone, you should be careful to respect the privacy and feelings of your fellow jurors. You should limit your comments to your own perceptions and feelings. If anyone persists in discussing the case over your objections or becomes critical of your service either before or after any discussion has begun, please report that to me. At this time, then, the court offers its sincere thanks to the jurors. I appreciate your patience and attentiveness throughout this lengthy trial. I also thank you again for upholding your important civic duty as jurors in this case. I'd also like to thank the attorneys who tried this case for your professionalism throughout the proceedings and in the pretrial motions that came before trial. At this time, then, the court will discuss briefly sentencing in this case. In Idaho, pursuant to Title 19, Chapter 25, a report is required to be prepared before sentencing called the pre-sentence investigation report. In a typical case, that report takes at least 2 months to prepare. In a case such as this, it will likely take longer. The court will inquire as to a pre-sentence investigator for the time frame required to prepare the report in this case. Upon getting an estimation, then the court will reach out to counsel for determining a date for sentencing. I'll just advise everyone that will likely be, I'm thinking, at least 3 months probably before that sentencing can be scheduled to have the report completed. The court will also advise at this time then, upon conclusion of the proceedings, the defendant will be remanded back to custody of the Ada County Sheriff at this time to be transferred to the Fremont County Sheriff for further proceedings in Fremont County for sentencing. The court will also instruct the clerk to collect any of the jurors' notes pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 24.1A. At this time then, the court will ask that the jurors and any alternates in attendance be excused from the courtroom. And I am going to direct that all in attendance here remain seated until such time as the jurors have been completely exited from the courtroom. And in addition, I'll let the jurors know there is additional information you'll be receiving through the court administration offices on your way out as you leave today. So again, thank you for your service. Court will be adjourned. And Mr. Bailiff, if you could have all rise for the jury.
All rise, please.
Yeah, here we go. Arms defined. Their black outfit did not work. Mayday, mayday, mayday. And no smirk today, Lori. No smirk.
All right, thank you, council. Thank you, everyone, for your decorum this afternoon. Court is adjourned.
Now, here's what's interesting. On East Idaho News, they actually had a picture of Lori, an up-close picture. Let me see if I could find it. And she basically was death staring somebody. Where did they have it now? Oh, yeah, right here. Okay, hang on, because I got to show you this. This has been, like, we never see her smirk, but she death stared. Hang on here. Let me share it. Yeah. See if I can make that bigger. That's about as big as it gets. You see her face? She's looking at her like whoever is speaking is like, you're next. That's exactly her look, I think. So, yeah, it's interesting. So when she was sitting there, you can see on her face, and this is a real big moment, in my opinion, besides the obvious, for Lori, because she's hearing each juror say that was their verdict. Yep. And this is new to Lori because usually she can dupe them. She can usually dupe people. And this is the first time in her life that she hasn't been able to. She thought she was going to get away with it. So, not so much. So this is different for her. This is the first time in her entire almost 50 years that she's ever had this happen. She's used to being the girl on top. She's the girl that always gets her way, and this is weird for her. So it's interesting. Yeah, no smirk today. So she's super mad. Here, Algo says, "Oh my God, how she scorned off her attorneys, one death stare, and she fled." Yeah. So, and here's the thing: her behavior in court the whole time, her dead daughter, her dead son, and then Tammy as well, and she didn't care, right? But she didn't care in any of this. And the only time she wanted to tap out was day 2, I think. She wanted to tap out. She didn't want to be there anymore. No, you sit there and you look at what you did. Pretty much. So, Squeaky Wheel says, Lori knew what was coming today. For 5 weeks, she sat and listened to what a horrible person she was. Reality finally sunk in. Maybe the antipsychotic drugs helped. Who knows? But this woman is like, see you later. Have fun in your portal potty. Talk to Chad in his storm at night, whatever you want to do. But what she did was wrong, and she knew it. And that's the difference. She knew it, just like Letitia knew. Deborah says, thanks for all your hard work and keeping us informed in the positive environment of all the saddest of stories. That we can gather together with you to laugh and cry unashamedly is comforting. Yeah, thank you, you guys, for being here with me and watching my videos. And I mean, it's as healing for me as it is for you to do this together and be together and doing it. I kicked myself today because I was refreshing. Honestly, I was refreshing the wrong page. I was watching all morning and I was refreshing the same page, and I pulled a dummy. So I was late doing that, and then I was on mom duty, so I couldn't do live stream. So I thought, you know what, tonight we're gonna do a live stream. We're gonna talk about this crazy stuff. You know, the day, the week. There's so many things, right? For the first time in 3 years, I saw Larry Woodcock with his face different. He was relieved. Even this was before the verdict even came in, and he just was relieved. He just knew, you know? So I'd like to know how she's dyeing her hair. Would like to know that. It's not going to be the same in prison, though, I'm sure. Wait till the people in prison, well, they'll probably heard of her, but wait till the people in prison see what she did to her daughter and her son, particularly. She has the emotional maturity of an evil toddler. Well, even did you guys see the clip of when they served Lori the papers and she was in Hawaii and she was sitting by the pool and they came and they said, "Are you Chad and Lori?" And they served her the documents and she kind of just took the papers. She just took the papers and she's like, "Is there anything I need to do?" or whatever, you know, whatever it was. It's just what goes through a person's mind like that when you get these papers and you can't produce the children because you know you're going to get in trouble and you know what's happened to them, and then you still go ahead and continue your life in Hawaii. One of the things that was interesting, I don't think it happened in court, but I know they were putting pictures of Hawaii in court and showing Chad and Lori. But interestingly, and I don't think it happened because I was asking about it, but I didn't get really an answer. But there's a picture of Lori with like her finger gun, you know, like that towards Chad. I wanted that to be played in court. Why wouldn't they have put that? Maybe it would have been objected by the defense, but they should have put that up. I think that would have been very. I think that would be strong. There's a couple things that I wish they would have talked about. And let's get to some of the, I'm going to get to some of what the family members said too, and then we'll keep going. Shelly, I do that on purpose because the 144 is a jab at Lori because she wanted to lead the 144,000 and I got there first. So I did that to jab Lori because she thought she was the hottest, you know, thing to since sliced bread, and she clearly is not. Thank you. Let me read some of what the family said. Okay, so it says Tammy Douglas Daybell Foundation. We are relieved and grateful that justice has been served with the guilty verdict of the co-conspirator in Tammy's tragic murder. While this cannot bring Tammy, JJ, and Tylee back, we are glad that the justice system has done its job in holding the responsible person accountable for her actions. We hope this verdict brings some measure of closure for all of us. We will continue to honor Tammy's memory by furthering her legacy of getting books in the hands of kids. We love you, Tammy. You will never be forgotten. Tylee's aunt also had something to say. Annie Cushing, she's been on the show here before. She said, "No amount of justice can ever bring back Tylee, JJ, and Tammy, but I'm grateful for the hard work of law enforcement and prosecutors to hold Lori accountable for her heinous actions. And then it says the Cox and Shiflett families, and that's Adam Cox and family. Then the Shifletts is Summer Shiflett, her family, who is Summer Shiflett, who is Lori's sister. And we heard a heartbreaking phone call from jail, or to the jail, from Summer, and they were talking, and it was horrific. You could hear Summer just like almost hyperventilating while Lori was being her usual jovial self. Yeah, I love you. That's the one thing she says a lot. If she'll say something, they'll come at her and she goes, I don't know, I love you. So here's what they said. We want to thank each person that has offered kindness, support, and prayers on behalf of our family and the others' victims' families. That support is deeply felt and appreciated. We sincerely appreciate the time and dedication of the jury in this case. We also appreciate all the time and effort that dedicated law enforcement attorneys and Judge Boyce has taken to adjudicate this case. We acknowledge countless hours put into the case and also time away from their families. We thank you. We fully accept the determined decision in our justice system. We understand this is just one step towards justice for beloved victims in this case. Despite today's verdict, we are left with our grief and sorrow over the loss of Tylee and JJ, who are irreplaceable. Our family will always feel this loss and will never be the same. We will continue to honor the memories to the best of our ability. We send our deepest sympathy to Tammy's family and Charles' family, who have also been devastated by the loss of Tammy and Charles, who are also irreplaceable. We share your grief and offer our heartfelt prayers for healing for all who have been hurt by these horrific crimes. We hope this outcome can offer you a measure of peace and comfort. We will continue to firmly put our faith in Jesus Christ and seek for his mercy and grace for all of those involved. And then they put the Cox and Shiflett family. I had somewhere as well, I hope I still have it somewhere. I think I had Kay Woodcock somewhere, and I will find that in a minute. I'll try and check that out. And it basically started with Kay Woodcock asking for a welfare check on JJ. And then it all went down from there. And then, wait a minute, this has to do with Charles's case in July. Wait a minute, where's the sister? She's gone too. So Tylee died in September. She was killed in September. And that was also JJ. And then you have October for Tammy. She had 2 attempts made on her life, one on Brandon Boudreau. Interestingly, Brandon had his attempt made on October 2nd. And the next day was the closing of their house. And think of this, when the closing of their house would have happened, he would have been dead had it been successful. And so guess who's getting the money? And apparently Melanie also canceled the divorce. At that time, she put it on hold because you can't get something about, you can't get paid out by insurance and blah, blah, blah. So there's lots of things that was going on. Lots of things going on that we found. I'm so surprised that Melanie Pulowski hasn't been charged with anything. Bex in Wonderland says, your shows are fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for your work, your views, and the respectful way you always deliver. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're hanging on out tonight, Friday night, with 2,350 people. Just, cool 2,300, all family hanging out. Closing arguments for West Boys on Tuesday. Yes, I did. Was that 2 nights ago? I read through everything. I'd like to do a video on that I gathered a bunch of notes on and put them in a nice little script. So I got to do that. Why are they extending the sentencing? She should have his sentenced immediately. It is up to the judge. However, it was different with Letitia. The judge decided right away. But according to Idaho law, it was said that they have to do a pre-sentencing report, and that takes minimum of 2 months. So that's why. So, and he believes it take a little bit longer. Yeah, it's a long time ago, wasn't it? We were locked in and doing video after video. She does use I love you as a weapon, absolutely. So it's going to be a few months. So we're looking at August for sentencing, probably, maybe even September, hopefully not. And then they'll deal with Charles Vallow. And I'm going to be there for that too. We're going to go through all that. One of the things too, I'm surprised that Colby Ryan's testimony was so short. I was hoping they would bring things up like Lori giving her car to Colby, and that there was evidence in the backs. I think it was the back seat that they found, but I'm surprised they didn't bring some of this stuff up. I'm really surprised. Joe Ryan's death was sketchy, wasn't it? I had Annie Cushing, who's Joe's sister, on the show. We did that. I think that was 2 Christmases ago. Around that time, we had her on. She was great to have on. And we were chit-chatting it up about that as well. I did some videos on Melanie and Brandon Boudreau as well, and Ian Pulowski, and I outed her lies as well from her interviews. So check those out too. There's lots still to go on. And it is crazy, you guys, because I feel like even though I've been doing this for 3.5 years, or 3 years fully with Lori's case and Charles and all that, there's so much more to go through. Just scratching the surface. So I'm so surprised that it was so quick in her trial. I mean, what are the chances that it's like in the same week, for Letitia? Thank you so much for covering these cases. I appreciate your passion and respect you show the victims. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. I love my community. Did I see Letitia's mugshot? I did not. Oopsie. Hang on, guys. My phone dropped and then I don't want my computer to die. I did not see her mugshot. That should be interesting. And it'll be interesting to see Lori's. She is amazing. Now, here's a question for you guys. Now that Lori is done, do you still want deep dives on some of Lori's stuff? Or do you want me to prepare for Charles coming up? Even though I did quite a few on Charles, or are you just over it? Because I'm curious about that. And we still have another year for Chad. Where did I see? Did you hear Kay say Brandon has a trial coming up? No. But that would make sense because what I said earlier today, about once this pre-sentencing thing happens, the sentencing happens, then she's going to go deal with Arizona. So she gets to go through all these details all over again, but only for Charles. And that was interesting. We saw Lori that day that Charles was shot. She was with him for 15 years and not one tear, nothing, not anything, just smirks outside of that house that he was dead. And she had a pool party after, and the neighbors were talking about that. I mean, she went to Burger King for JJ after. She went and got flip-flops from, I don't know if it was Walmart or Walgreens. I think it was Walgreens. She went to go get flip-flops, like just another day. Oops, neighbor, sorry, neighbor. Like just stupid. I don't know. She hit it well though. I think she always had something in her. Thank you. We do. We got a good group. We got a great group. If they didn't get caught, Chad was next. You're amazing, Linda. Well, yeah, number 5, right? Hubby number 5. You guys, if you're looking for an interesting case that's kind of connected to Lori in a way, I did one called Flypaper Lida. And she was the first female serial killer in Idaho. And this was like in the late 1800s. And Flypaper Lida has they called her that because she was basically killing the hubbies with this flypaper. I think she'd boil it or give them tea or something like that. But it is eerie because this woman had 7 husbands, like Lori has 5. Her daughter mysteriously died, obviously just like Lori's. She was even arrested in Hawaii like Lori. And when you put the pictures side by side of Lori and Lida, it's like reincarnation, like they always talk about. I'm not even joking you. I did 2 videos on them, and it's like, wow, that is really weird how there's so much synchronicities. I still want deep dives because I still feel like I have missed things, and I want Charles too. Deep dive on Alex killing Stacy. Oh yeah, we're gonna be diving into Brian for sure. Keep diving. Newly released. Yeah, I feel like that's what I would do more, is the newly released stuff. I've done so much on Lori on all the other stuff. It'd probably be a little painful for me to rehash some of the old stuff. But yeah, I think the new stuff would be good too. Book Girl says, I'm done with Lori. I know a lot of people are. Charles, deep dive, Charles and Brandon. Keep it coming. Prep for Charles. Okay. I'll do other ones too. It won't be like fully on this boom, 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 boom. Like it will be a sprinkle, but I still think there is more to go. Thank you for the super sticker. Pool party. Yeah, she had the pool party. Remember that? Chad's isn't for another year. Oh, you guys. Some of your comments about Chad. We'll watch whatever you cover. I appreciate that. Letitia got life for the main ones. I'm confused about which Brandon Boudreau. He had his life, an attempt made on his life, and that was in October 2nd of 2019, and thankfully it was not successful, but there's some shady stuff around it. Hi, sorry, neighbors. Oh, wouldn't that be good? It's too bad we couldn't say things in there. And I was down there and looked at Lori and went, sorry, Lori. Lolo's hit a new low. I want to show you some pictures. I'm sure you've seen it. I know if you've watched my videos, you've seen it, but these are the pictures I absolutely love. This one of Tylee. I love that one on the beach. And then this one of JJ. I love this picture of him, so cute in his little suit. And Tammy, I just recently found a picture of Tammy. It's a great picture, and it's with her sister, and they were together. Let me see if I can find that. I loved it. I put it in yesterday's video. Let me see. I can't believe how much files I have on Lori from the 3 years. It's taken up most of my Mac. I have it. I know I have it somewhere because this one. I think this is such a great picture of Tammy and her sister. Isn't that great? So all those people, Tammy and JJ and Tylee, and then you have this schmuck. And where's the other? Like, just terrible behavior. Terrible behavior. And let's see, maybe I could show you my Lida one because it's kind of funny. Okay, you guys, some of them I'm done, some of them just now getting into her. So we could try a couple and I'll make it interesting. I won't make it just like a weird update. I'll maybe do my Linda isms in it, perhaps. No more Lori. God, no more loin fires, please. Yeah, Elizabeth. Oh, okay, so here's a little insight in the life of Linda sometimes. I'll be brushing my teeth, right? And I'm brushing my teeth or something like that. Those and I have an idea for a title or idea for a video. And then I go and I write these little dates down or these ideas down. I swear to you, some of them are like, oh, I can't. I just can't. And then it was like the coming storm. It was like, oh my God, this is not good. This is not good. Oh, good question. We should find this out. When can the children be laid to rest? Good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they have to wait now for Chads or if they can go ahead, but I think that's something we need to find out. Yes, Lida Souther, Flypaper Lida. That's right. Check those 2 videos out because it's pretty interesting, I think. And this is way back, and Lida had some weird isms like Lori, and it was insurance involved. Like, you got to check it out. I might have 144,000 files. When was it? Last week? I think it was last week, and on the last of my subscribers, it had the 666, and I thought, "Oh, Lori, is that you?" I know Tammy's picture's so nice, isn't it? All of their pictures are nice, and then once in a while we have Charles pop up on here too. Oh, you found it. There you go. You found the Lida videos. Awesome. Yeah, I should put it in the chat unless somebody has the link and you want to put it in the chat, but Chad is awake tonight, no sleep. No, I didn't hear Kay's brother was at the press conference. How did I miss that? Oh, that would have been, yeah. I would probably, I'd really like to do that. We'll have to pull that up. Caroline says, I'm pretty sure I haven't eaten pork loin since I heard about that. When I did the loin fire video, it took me 1 month to do the video. And then I said to everybody as I started, I was like, I'm warning you, if you're eating or you just ate, you might want to wait to digest. And don't say I didn't warn you. Oh, you like my, thank you. Yeah, my lotus flower shirt. Thank you. Have I heard Lily of the Valley or Ricin? Maybe it was used to silence Alex. Look up, okay, one of the videos that I did, it was called a Chitter Chatter series, and I talked about devil's breath, and that was from Colombia, a plant, and it was really weird because it was called the zombie drug. And there's some weird things they have um, documentaries on it, and how people would literally lose their free will. Like it was, they could suggest stuff. So, for example, there was one guy that he was drugged and he went and cleared out his whole entire apartment and had no recollection, but he could talk like to the security guard and whatever. And he's like, where's all, the next day he's like, where's all my stuff? He's like, you moved yesterday, you took all your stuff out. So it's really, really interesting, and it's undetectable, and people don't detect it if they're in their systems. It's very fascinating. So I did that once because I was just trying out like a little theory series where like, I don't know this, we don't know this as a fact, but people brought it up and it was an interesting aspect, so we went down that rabbit hole. It was interesting. This was before we found out about Tammy even. I wish we could all party together. Me too. Oh dear. And you know what? Remember the very, very first time we saw Nate Eaton walk up to Lori? When I saw Nate, I didn't know who he was at the time, and he walked up to Lori with this microphone. He's like, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Where are the kids? And he said something like, I have I have X amount of children. I know where they are. Where's your kids, Lori? And I thought, who is this guy? He's awesome. And then we've been following Nate ever since. He did a great job. Yes, yes. How do I say it? Scopolamine? Burundanga, it's called from the plant. Nate is the bomb. I love him. He was great. He was great. He's reliable. I love that he had, different comments about the day. I love that he even made the comments about Larry handing out life savers. It was awesome. He was great. I'll never forget the moment where he was right in her face. Was there anything, for those of you who did follow the trial, was there anything that you found that was very surprising of the information? I feel like there was new info, but I don't feel like there was a ton of new info. Maybe just because I've been watching for 3.5 years or 3 years. But was there something that really surprised you? Let me know in the comments. We'll see what you guys think. And then, I said this in he brought donuts for people waiting in line at 4 a.m. Such a nice and hardworking reporter. He's great. He's great. Um, One of the things that I brought up in Letitia's trial was about the responders, the first responders, the jurors. So not only do the families go all through this, but people who are on the jury, Detective Hermosillo, you see always in the gallery every time he's right there. I mean, everybody that had to respond, and they were digging by hand to get to Tylee, and JJ, and I don't know, it does something to you. And I feel like, I know they probably can never do this, but I feel like that should be taken into account too, right? That should be taken into account too. What prosecution, everybody, their actions is a huge ripple effect, and it traumatizes the families, and then it traumatizes the first responders, and then it traumatizes the jurors, and then everybody but Lori. It surprised me that even the more out there theories paled in comparison or were right on. Mm-hmm. Didn't see the storm coming. Lori's iCloud accounts and what was in there. She never thought they'd find that. That was good. I'm surprised the jury didn't see the storage unit surveillance videos right after the children reported missing. Yes, that was a huge part of it in even the story to report, right? JJ's grave was dug well before they killed him. And Chad would know. I mean, Chad would be very skilled at it because of his background. So he would do it faster than the average bear, but not 17 minutes, I wouldn't think. The hair and the duct tape, I did do a video on that as well. On that. That Melanie's children were dark and that she knew it. phone call with the summer was telling. Yeah, that's just blah. Nate Eaton on East Idaho News. That's how you find him. Nate Eaton, Eaton. Lori's hair. The prosecutor mentioned that Lori asked and prompted Chad to re-rate people. DNA on the tape. I wish they showed Lori's dance videos. Yeah. They had marks on, yeah, it's just awful. Was really surprised at the uncaring brutality of the kids' bodies. I knew it was going to be pretty bad, but the things we heard is just awful. Let's have Nate on your show. I agree. Bunny says, I wasn't surprised about anything. I know we had a lot of stuff, didn't we, over the years. Teresa says, I am waiting for the DNA evidence and stuff they didn't show about Chad. I wonder what his is going to be like comparatively. I wonder how they're going to lay that out. I mean, when you think about it, both sides learn from this, right? They learn, okay, this worked. This could have been better. This, like, how do we prepare for Chad? And they have an extra year now. And his is going to be like, I think they've learned and they'll make sure to add some more stuff to it. Tylee's death, the casting call surprised me. Yeah, it's just awful. The spells. The Wi-Fi password, that was huge too. Too many kids, and she said, haha, funny. That was weird too. Hey, Mimi, it surprises me greatly regarding Alex's death that his wife isn't charged at all. The weird thing is too, I don't know if you remember, the day that Alex died, Zulema was by his side, but also in the hallway, and she said something right away about getting a lawyer. She was acting weird, and I'm surprised too there wasn't something going on there, but Melanie knew what dark meant. What was interesting was Melanie Pulowski / Boudreau had mentioned in a text that she should get insurance on the kids, on Tylee and JJ. That was really the jailhouse phone calls as well. Yay, you're caught alive. Good question. There's a video I did a while back, and it was about how they believed that their dad was framed, but I don't know anymore. That was before a lot of stuff came out. So, and they didn't even know yet, I think, about Tammy. They just knew that she died from asphyxia. Like, they didn't know anything else. So that was a while ago. So it'd be interesting to know what they believe now. Yeah, that was a big one too, that she had to move on. That was big. Yeah, by what? Going on the beach and it's dumb. Yeah, that was months ago. Yeah, ask other people that. It has been a long 3 years. This week has been very, very bad for that. How? Okay, let me find you the LIDA stuff. I think I have a playlist for it. Please hold and I'll check it for you guys. Yeah, here we go. I'll get this link and it has both videos in there. Hopefully that'll help. Yeah, Tammy had bruises. I did that video. Check out my video I did last night. I think it was yesterday that I put it out. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I don't know. Castings was Biggs. Oh, that's sweet. Yes, hit the like button if you can. That really helps me out. I appreciate that. Give a like if we love that Lori is guilty on all accounts because it was a little bit worrisome. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit worrisome. We got all the guilties. Penny says, I think Brandon's case will result in charges for conspiracy. I am worried for Larry. I think this aged him. Oh, I mean, this has to take a toll on them for anybody, right? I believe there was a medical emergency the other day, but he's ended up being okay. And today he was very happy. One sec, you guys, please. Okay. I had a note slipped under the door. So we're going to get off soon. Yes, we have Brian Koberger in June. So we're going to dive into that. I'm still, the West trial, there's going to be closing statements this coming week. So this weekend, I'll be a little bit busy getting stuff ready for next week for some videos. I'll have a video this weekend sometime. Somebody's asking, why is Chad so long from now? So when they were trying to book, basically John Pryor, Chad's lawyer, was saying, I need more time. And then Judge Boyce is like, we got to get on this because they are already super busy. So it was already going to be fall or Christmas and then now, or, December. And now it's not till, well, he's requesting it for it to be May, but we don't know what the judge says yet. But as soon as we know, we'll know. Me too. So good. Sentencing's not for a couple months. Me too. Oren and Orson as well. Yeah. What do I think of Chad's lawyer being at trial every day? Hate that he gets a little head start. Um, I think that's exactly that. He wanted to know what his angles are at, but I think at the end of the day, even if he gets a head start, we know this. Okay, this is going to be way more painful. I think when Chad goes. I think John Pryor. I guess these guys too were whiny, but John Pryor is really whiny after what the defense did on the opening, not the opening statements, but when Kay Woodcock, I can't remember what day it was, day 2, day 3, basically saying that JJ's not or Kay's not the grandparents, or they're not the grandparents because they lost that right, blah, blah, blah. It was just really poor taste. Really poor taste. That's right. You're right, because he didn't waive his right to a speedy trial and it's the death penalty case. That's right. But remember, they were going together, right? They were supposed to be together. Then it split. And then John Pryor's been whining forever and ever and ever and ever. So then it was pushed out. And then that's when they said, well, we better get a move on it because they wanted to schedule. And he's like, well, I'm already busy up until September. So, or what, I think it was September something. He's like, we gotta check and go from there. And then it was like, it's gonna be most likely fall or winter. And then now John Pryor is like, well, I want to push it till May because I still have so much to do. So I don't know. Oh, yes. Thank you. My kids are taking me on a little date on Sunday. I never forget when John Pryor, um, um, on his preliminary hearing, on Chad's preliminary, I believe it was, and he was talking. He goes like this. He goes like, "Sorry, Judge, I thought I heard a voice from the coroner." I think it was a little jab. Chad and his loin fire next. Got to give him some cream for that. Casey says, better watch her starting a cult in jail. I wonder if men will send her love letters like women do male serial killers. Isn't that interesting? I would like to know that too. Chad wanted a speedy shower. Did you remember the text that it was like, thank you for meeting me in the shower today, or whatever it was? They're like, note. I think it was Nate. There's like, note, Lori wasn't physically there. Oh. Oh, I love when you guys make me laugh. That's right. Remember that, Shelley? I watched Chad's preliminary. His lawyer accused Melanie Gibb of looking at prosecutors too much. Remember that? And Melanie Gibb was fighting back a little bit too because he was being a jerk. It's been over 3 years, Linda. Yeah, shout out to you and everyone who's cared about Tylee, JJ, Tammy, and Charles. Thank you. And you guys too. Watching the videos, doing the deep dives, all gagging through the loin fire, timelines. Man, there's a lot. I hope they can. I'll find out. We'll see if they have to still wait to Chad Daybell or if they can actually finish it. It gave me heartburn. Terrible. Amazing too, hey, how it takes 3 years to get to this point. Man, and Lori went through her competency evaluations. I mean, absolutely is getting justice. Absolutely. We'll see what she gets for sentencing. That should be interesting. Just in general, you know, it's going to be a couple months, and then with Boyce and yeah, when Linda was in a blank little corner of a room and a muffler guy, remember that? Oh, the yellow wall. It's weird because in some aspects it feels really quick, and then some aspects it feels like that took a long time. Good question, Jody. Do you think Chad's trial will be allowed in the courtroom? That's a good question. I know John Pryor wanted. He first he was talking about publicity, but then he said he wanted the cameras in the room. So I don't know what's going to happen. The muffler guy. So today is a great day. It is a great day. There's justice finally served for Lori. We'll see what the sentencing is because we still got to wait for that. It's weird because I know in Canada sometimes it takes a couple months too. I did a video on Robert Leeming. He was a weird guy. He's like Canada's Chris Watts. And his took quite some time. So, and because of Idaho law, it was said that Lori is going to take a couple months. And then though, we'll go now, I guess probably by fall, we'll be going dealing with Charles, as I would guess, and start that whole process. And then by next year, we'll be doing Chad Daybell. So we're going to have more Lori stuff. It's just when I do a video, it's not going to be Lori. It'll be Lori, some other stuff, back to Lori or to Chad Daybell. That's what I mean, or Charles or something. And we'll see what we could dig up. I still feel like there's a lot of information we don't know, but I can get how some people are like, ugh, I just. Algo says, oh, another thing I would do is try to recuse Judge Boyce since he already saw every piece of evidence that will come in Chad's trial. Doing my happy dance. Absolutely. Been here a long time. Do you know the muffler guy? The muffler guy. Good question about the Arizona trial. I don't know if it'll be televised. We don't know any of that, but we'll know Justin Lum will be covering it. Justin Lum covered Charles's quite a bit. He does a great job too. Pink Dahlia says, isn't that kind of ironic that they're both being sentenced right before Mother's Day? Lori and Letitia, both the epitome of evil, all in the same week too. Do you remember too? It was before one of Lori's court hearings, and she was saying about, I gotta pull it up. She was talking about all this $1 million, something like that. Think about that. Every time we saw her giggling, flirting with Mark Means, giggling, inappropriate behavior. In the preliminary, she had inappropriate behavior. They were talking about details about her dead children, and she just acting like she was in the pageant. That's and every way, the only other way I can say it, it's like that. I mean, she knew all kinds of stuff, shopping for wedding dresses and the time that he's still married to Tammy, all that. Oh, he's also covered in Charles's trial. Yeah, so wasn't Mel P the next dark one to go? No. Mel P was, I think she was part of it. She's a little mini Lori, and I'm surprised she didn't get charged. I did a couple of her videos and outed her lies. There's one too, you guys want to check out, would be the Thanksgiving video, because there's so much telling about that that Thanksgiving weekend. They got married. Alex and Zulema and Ian and Melanie, after like 8 days or 9 days of starting to date, and they get married. But it was the Thanksgiving weekend, and there's some shady stuff going on that weekend. So I was pointing all that into a timeline, and interesting stuff. Agree. She is suspicious. Prison pageants are a thing now. I think it would have, I think just based on the rubric, her hit list, it would have been one of the people that she rated dark was Colby's wife. So it's a good thing that they had their distance, because she would have just kept going, in my opinion. I believe the Idaho just adopted the firing squad. They did. They did the firing squad. Thank you. And Melanie P's kids, that's right. There's a couple as well. There is so much going on, and imagine the stuff that we don't know about, right? There's stuff there. So Did Lori maybe ruminate much on life insurance possibilities after Joseph Ryan? I'm sure she did. She received benefits from Joseph. Well, I think it was Tylee, and then she got that. And she even was on recording talking about how she wanted to. I don't have a murderous heart. I just wanted to stop the pain. And what else did she say? Yeah, I don't know. I've had enough Lori some days too. Sentencing is in a couple months. Check out Lida. You gotta check out Lida. Lida Southard. She got hers, that's for sure. Thank you. The podcast. Oh my gosh, there's so much. It is a great day today. It is a great day. It's so sad too, though, you know? Like Tylee being 16, 2 weeks away from her 17th birthday. Why not just let her go and live her life? Like, just go let her go. The statements on the stand usually do that on sentencing, so we'll see. Yeah, if you want to see the Lida videos, I'll give you the playlist. There's just 2 in there, but it is interesting. Even the picture of her, when you compare Lida Southard, who's from the 1800s, beside Lori's picture, I wonder if I have it. And then you guys might like to see it. Let me just see if I have the thumbnail or whatever that you could see. I do. Okay, take a look at this. Let me just think for a moment how I would share that. Oh, I know how I'll do it. Okay, let me just find that comparative. And then let me just find it, guys. One sec. There we go. Okay, take a look at this picture. You tell me what you think. We'll go really slow for a minute. Take a look at their faces, but start at the eyebrows. And I know this sounds crazy, but just hear me out. Look at even the eyebrows are the same. You could see the left eye's even smaller than the right, and so is Lori's. Right? So you see the arches of the eyebrows very similar. The eyes, their right eye, so to our left, is bigger than the eye to our right. Even their noses are kind of similar, but look at the mouth. Even the mouth has the downturned lips. Do you see that? Where it's like an upside down lips. It is. It's just a little creepy. So that's Fly Paper Lida, they called her. Her name is Lida Southard. Yeah, it is. It's really creepy, isn't it? And yeah, and so that's what the thumbnail looks like on my video. So that link that I gave you, but even go a step further, like Lida had 7 husbands, Lori had 5. And it was just all the little stories. Like it first started with the brother-in-law and then went to her child, and then she started learning about insurance, and she just had some weird stuff. So you gotta check. Yeah, their eyes, it's just they make the same face, and their demeanor, her demeanor was very similar. Lida actually did in court, she was even acting out. It's uncanny. Oh yeah, so Lida was the very first female serial killer in Idaho. It's uncanny, isn't it? I'll give you again the playlist for it to check it out. But it's super interesting. So the one video I did was a full story on her. And then the second video I did is the one that I actually showed the comparisons. So I did quite a bit. So there's lots. And they even they both got first arrested in Hawaii. So Lida and Lori. Lucas, I just gave you, if you guys just, I guess, scroll up a little bit, I just gave the link on that if you want to go check those two. And yeah, have a look. Like it's super creepy, isn't it? So, and even the behavior, everything, it's just weird. It is super weird. And she had also pulled in people just like how Lori did. Let's just see if I can take that down now so you guys can see me. Yes, absolutely. So I have that in my video. You got to check it out. Check it out for sure. All right. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to have to get off. I'd love to stay with you guys, but I have to end the night early. Not like my 8 hours one. Lida was married 7 times. So, all right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you to the mods. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for hanging out with me. And we'll do this again. Watch for my upcoming videos. Check out the Lida videos. I'd love to hear what you think about it. So make sure you comment when as it's going on. Anything you think of, just like, oh my goodness, let me know. And we'll see you soon. More videos coming. And of course, the live streams will come. So next week, check out on Tuesday, supposed to be the closing statements for the West trial. So we've been fighting for Oren and Orson as well, and we like to see each case to the end. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Guilty, 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 guilty. And we got Lori and Letitia away, hopefully for life for Lori. Well, it will be. I mean, it will be, but you know what I mean. We're not there yet, but we're almost to close the book on that chapter. Then we're going to have to go after for justice for Charles. And then we'll go to Chad Daybell and put that storm out. All right, you guys. Good night. Love you. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend and happy Mother's Day too as well. Bye.